A fascinating incident takes place in this week's portion of Vayishlach. One which makes us double think, who are the real terrorists? The Bible tells a very difficult story. Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, went out and was captured and raped by Shechem, the prince of one of the Canaanite cities in the Middle East. He loved Dinah, however. And the Bible pictures a meeting of what is to be hoped for, by Shechem at least, a meeting of the future Machatonim. And Shechem and his father Hamor, sitting around the table, makes it very clear that they would like a marriage to take place. And they're willing to be one people and to take economy and make the economy good with both of them together, doing business together. And they paint a very nice picture. Jacob and his sons are also present. And they have a clear stipulation. If you will circumcise yourselves, then we can become one nation and do business together. And there can be a marriage between Shechem and Dinah. But if you will not, then that will be an impossibility. And we'll have to go our separate ways. Shechem agrees to have the entire city, male population, circumcised. And on the third day, when everyone was weak from circumcision, Shimon and Lady, the two most activistic sons of Jacob, slay all the circumcised men of the town of Shechem. Who were the terrorists? And I think the average reader would have to admit the terrorist was certainly Shimon and Lady. Jacob, Father Jacob, is understandably angry at what they do. But strangely enough, he does not criticize them on the basis of immoral activity. At the end of chapter 34, Jacob says to Shimon and to Levi, "You have caused me to be muddied, to stink among the inhabitants of the land. And I'm few in number, and the other nations will gather together, hit me, strike at me, and I and my household will be destroyed." Strange reaction. Why doesn't he rail at them for their terrorist activities, for their immorality? There's one missing piece which the Ramban beautifully reminds us of. During this meeting of the Machatonim, where was Dinah? Look carefully at chapter 34, verse 17. When the brothers acquiesced to a certain deal with the people of Shechem. If you will circumcise yourselves, then we will be one nation, business-wise and otherwise. Verse 17. But if you will not listen to us to be circumcised, You will refuse the possibility of circumcision. V'lakachnu et bitenu v'halachnu. We will take our daughter and we will leave. In other words, Dinah was being held captive. This was a deal that was made under the gun. And therefore, when at the end the people of Shechem are slaughtered literally by Shimon and Lady, and Jacob argues against what his two sons did, the last word in the chapter is taken by the children of Jacob. Hachazona yasa et achotenu. Will you have our sister being treated as a harlot by all of these enemies? That's the last word, because that's the important word. Because Israel must never give in to terrorism. Because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, but nothing corrupts more than powerlessness. Jacob was afraid. And that's why he did what he did and said what he said. He was afraid. He realizes what they did was not immoral. They did the right, strong thing to do. And Maimonides says, indeed all the people of the town were worthy of death, because they didn't enforce the justice that should have been enforced. The people of Shechem should never have stood for the immoral actions of the family when they came to the table. They should have been called up and told they could remain. So, who were the real terrorists? They weren't Shimon and Lady. Shimon and Lady was protecting the honor of his sister and his nation. And indeed, the Bible will later tell us that all the nations became frightened of the Israelites. They had nothing to worry about. The Jacobians had nothing to worry about. They were not destroyed by the nations round about. They were feared. And Shimon and Levi did the right thing. And therefore, they are given the blessing by Jacob later on. They are the educators. They are the singers in the temple. They are the rabbis and teachers within the Jewish nation. They ultimately got what they really deserved to get. They interpreted the events correctly. Shabbat Shalom.